Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to discuss a very important disease of animals and humans that is known as anthrax. Anthrax is a bacterial disease of domestic and wild animals caused by a gram-positive bacteria known as Bacillus anthracis. This disease is not only important in animals, but it is also important from human point of view because of its zoonotic nature. And this microorganism, Bacillus anthracis, has been used as a potential bioterrorism agent at different occasions, and for this you can search it on internet about history of use of Bacillus anthracis as potential bioterrorism agent. So it means it is very important to understand and discuss the nature of this bacteria and this disease. Etiology. This disease is caused by a gram-positive, rod-shaped, capsulated, and spore-forming bacteria known as Bacillus anthracis. As you know, that spores are also produced by genus Clostridia, and the shape and the size and location of endospore determines the genus and species of spore forming bacteria. So you have to remember that there are two important spore forming genera. First of all are Clostridium, and the second one are the Bacillus. And in the Bacillus genus, Bacillus anthracis is the most important species from veterinary and medical point of view. In Bacillus anthracis, the spores are centrally located and they are not formed within the animal tissues. So in this picture, you can see centrally located spores, and the arrangement of Bacillus anthracis are in chains. This bacteria is aerobic or facultative anaerobe, and it grows well on most of the ordinary medium, and the appearance of the colony is medusa head with uneven and wavy margins. And we can easily use different type of biochemical tests like catalase, lecithinase, etc. to identify and differentiate anthracis from other bacillus species like Bacillus subtilis and Bacillus cereus. Transmission. This disease is non-contagious in nature. It means it is not transmitted from human to human or animal to animal. The grazing animals, they become infected through ingestion of spores in the soil, and in such type of soils which contain the spores of Bacillus anthracis, the main source of contamination is the animals who have died from anthrax, and their carcasses have not been disposed of properly. Similarly, in some of the regions, the role of biting flies in transmission has also been documented. Similarly, contaminated surface water pools containing spores may also play a role in transmission. The transmission of this bacteria into animal or human body take place through three different routes. The first one is direct entry through skin abrasion or cuts, similarly through ingestion and also by inhalation. In Pakistan, sporadic outbreaks of anthrax in animals occur from time to time, and for this you need to read some publications about prevalence of anthrax in Pakistan. Pathogenesis. So pathogenesis is very important to understand, and this pathogenesis depends on different factors, virulence factors present in this bacteria. The first and most important is the production of anthrax toxin, which is a complex of three proteins: protectoantigen, edema factor, and lethal factor. Similarly, this bacteria is capsulated bacteria containing poly-D-glutamic acid capsule, and the role of capsule is to inhibit the process of phagocytosis. Similarly, there is presence of anthrax toxin protectoantigen, whose function is to bind plasma membrane of target cells and helps in the specific receptor mediated endocytosis of lethal factor and edema factor. So you need to remember these three important virulence factors present in Bacillus anthracis that play an important role in this disease. So what is edema factor? Edema factor is the combination of edema factor plus protectoantigen, or edema factor after joining protectoantigen, or edema factor with the help of protectoantigen causes impaired neutrophil function and depletes ATP from macrophages. So if the neutrophils and macrophages are not performing their function properly, so they cannot destroy this bacteria. Similarly, the lethal factor in combination with the protectoantigen or with the help of protectoantigen stimulates macrophages to produce large quantities of tumor necrosis factor alpha and interleukin 1 beta, and the overproduction of these cytokines result in shock and death. So the death occurs due to oxygen depletion, secondary shock, increased vascular permeability, respiratory failure, and cardiac failure. So what are the clinical signs and symptoms in cattle? Most of the time, there is sudden death of the animal without showing any sign or symptom. But occasionally, some animals may show trembling, high temperature, difficult breathing, collapse, and convulsions before death. A very important clinical feature of this disease, highlighted in red in this slide, is that there is oozing of blood from natural orifices or openings of the body like nose, mouth, and anus, and the blood doesn't clot. So this is very important clinical sign. If a veterinarian finds an animal that has died suddenly without showing any other specific signs and symptoms, and a blood is discharging or coming out from the orifice, and the blood doesn't clot. So it is one of the important indication that the animal may have died because of anthrax. And the post-mortem or opening of carcass or dead body of the animal is not recommended, because if you open the carcass for the post-mortem purposes, so the vegetative form of the bacteria may convert into the spore form, and production of spores may contaminate the environment and will be a potential source of infection for other animals and humans. The anthrax in humans. In humans, there are three clinical forms of anthrax: cutaneous anthrax, pulmonary anthrax, and intestinal anthrax. As the name indicates, the cutaneous anthrax, there is transmission or entry of bacteria through skin abrasions, and there is presentation of clinical signs and symptoms related to the skin. Similarly, in the pulmonary type of anthrax, which is the most common type, the main route of transmission is the respiratory route, and in intestinal anthrax, the main route of transmission is ingestion. But in humans, the anthrax can also be broadly classified into industrial anthrax and in non-industrial anthrax. The non-industrial anthrax, which is also known as agricultural anthrax, is a type of anthrax that is transmitted to humans through infected animals, resulting in mainly cutaneous form and rarely intestinal form. Similarly, in industrial type of anthrax, which is transmitted to humans through animal products like wools, hair, hides, etc., and this type of anthrax results mostly into cutaneous and pulmonary forms. And this type of anthrax, I mean pulmonary or cutaneous, or sometimes also known as industrial anthrax, is mostly found in people working industries related to wool, hair, etc. So there they are exposed to anthrax spores through inhalation, resulting in the pulmonary anthrax most of the time. So because of this reason, in literature, you may also find the name wool sorter disease for anthrax, wool sorter disease. So if you come across this name, so it is the synonym or second name of the anthrax disease in humans, wool sorter disease. Now we come to the lab diagnosis, which is very important. The blood sample taken from the dead animal can be directly stained using Macfadyen stain or India ink. Similarly, we can diagnose it by the direct demonstration by indirect fluorescent assay. Similarly, we can culture the bacteria very easily by streaking the sample on sheep blood agar. Similarly, different types of serological assays like ELISA are available, which are based on the anthrax toxin, and they are routinely used for confirmation of disease and vaccine response. Molecular techniques like restriction fragment length polymorphism, PCR fingerprinting are also commonly used for diagnosis of this disease. Last but not the least, we can also confirm this disease by animal inoculation, by inoculating the bacteria into guinea pig and mice, and the culture is later confirmed by gamma phage lysis. Now we come to the treatment. So because it's a bacterial disease, so the treatment responds well to different types of broad spectrum antibiotics. And if the disease is diagnosed earlier and the treatment is initiated earlier, so the response is quite good. Now we come to the prevention and control, which is the very important part of this lecture. As you know that it's a zoonotic disease, so there is need to prevent or control disease on both veterinary side and on human side. Because this disease is non-contagious most of the time and it is not endemic, so the use of vaccine in humans is not commonly used, or the use is controversial. The use of vaccine is only recommended in lab workers related to the vaccine production or research about Bacillus anthracis. Similarly, vaccine can also be done or is recommended in workers working in mills associated with wool hair. And in US, the vaccine is also done in military personnel because of bioterrorism aspect. In animals, different types of vaccines are available. Like in our country, anthrax spore vaccine is available, which is manufactured by VRI or Veterinary Research Institute Lahore, and this is easily available in market, and the animals can be vaccinated, and it gives good response. It means you can protect your animals as well as your environment by proper vaccination against this disease. Thank you very much.